Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and tech wizard Abigail Mott.
Hello, people.
People.
Viewers.
Hello, my
friends,
people.
Dedicated listeners.
My acolytes. My mage trainees. So, this week's podcast, what have you been playing this week?
I have been playing the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is only the first time that she's ever got the name right straight off the bat.
Woo!
We shall now throw a small party. That was fun. Now, tell us, what have you been doing?
I have been slowly leveling up because I now notice that what you said has come to pass, that as you level up more, you level up slower.
Yes.
So the higher your level is, the slower you're leveling up.
Because the more experience points you need.
Yeah. So I think last time we talked about the Galaxy Wars bit, I had not completed the table. I hadn't gotten to the end, and I gotten quite far, maybe 2 before the end. But after that, I was only ever really getting about halfway through the board.
Right.
I have now successfully completed the board, I think, twice more.
Twice?
Twice more.
Oh, right, so you've done it 3 times?
Yeah.
That's quite a lot. That's quite well done.
Yeah.
I think I've done it a couple of times in the past couple of weeks. Once you get 150 wins, it lets you simulate it.
Yeah, but I can't do that yet.
I'm really looking forward to being able to do that.
Yeah. So I'm getting better at not so much controlling my characters, but utilizing my characters to their full potential to be able to... Because, I mean, I can get up to pretty much the last battle with the same squad I started with. Which is Talia, the Jedi Consul. Is it Talia? Is it?
Talia, Jedi
Consular, sorry. The Wookiee, Chewbacca. The shooter person, like the pilot. And I can't remember what the other characters I have.
The pilot.
Pilot. That's what I said.
Resistance pilot.
Resistance pilot, yeah. And I can't remember the other character I'm using, but...
The snowtrooper.
No, there's 5. So, what did I say? Jedi, Talia, Chewbacca, pilot, and... Oh, I can't remember what the last one is.
Snowtrooper?
No, it's not. It's not a trooper at all. It's one with a single shooting mechanic. Oh, it says Farm Boy Luke Skywalker.
Yes. He's pretty powerful when you get a critical hit, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's good. I haven't progressed any more in the Cantina battles or the
Light and dark
side battles, but I'm just like, what is the term grinding when you're going over something again and again and again, trying to
get
build
experience,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that. Building up my levels, and also with the, what's it called, the squad arena?
Yes.
I've not really been I've not really been aiming to win those. I've just been finishing them, because then that will level you up. If you finish 3 a day, you don't need to win 3 a day. You just need to finish 3 a day.
You know that you can start that fight and immediately quit it and it'll still count.
I tried that and I swear it didn't count it.
For me, it's 2 a day and quitting counts.
Yeah. So while I'm playing the dark and light sides and the cantinas, I have basically just been playing the levels that will give me the shards that I want. Which is Rey, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the guy that Christopher Lee played.
Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've just been simming the challenges. I've not been really properly battling.
That's fine. When you do all the challenges at their highest level and get 3 stars for all of them, you can then sim all the battles at once.
I have unlocked 3 characters since we talked about this. I cannot for life of me remember what they are. I will just quickly go look them up. Tommy, filler music while I do this.
No,
that's copyrighted. That's copyrighted. Okay, so that's copyrighted still. Stop
it isn't.
It's the same blooming song.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it wasn't.
Well, anyway, the characters that I've unlocked are Aurora Singh, Dengar, and Zeb.
Shall I try doing the reading? Aura Singh, she was part of the challenge. I've got her as well. I don't know how much time I would put into her because it's quite difficult to get her shards at the minute. Dengar, Garazeb, Aurelios. Yeah, they're pretty good.
So what I have now asked Tommy 3 times during the week, which character should I unlock next? And he has every time completely ignored that question.
Okay, give me the character list just now and I'll point out one that's good.
Stop it!
That's lift music. Are you sure that's copyrighted?
Pretty sure.
Are you sure?
Just about every music's copyrighted. Happy Birthday's copyrighted. Actually, I don't know if that's still true or not. No, these ones that I can unlock from the Galaxy War bit. If I redeem. Which one should I go for? Because I've got just now 4,000... Phasma, right. Because at the moment I have got 4,800 gems.
Can I just point out that you still need to unlock his other stars.
Yeah, but I don't... Is it worthwhile keep going with Garazeb or...
I would unlock Phasma and then go back to Garazeb and unlock
Right,
him.
okay. Then that'll be the first thing I do right now is buy some shards.
Yeah, because she is a First Order and you will need her to do First Order events, and he is a Phoenix and a Rebel and you'll need him to do those events.
Right.
You'll need him for sure more than you'll need her, but I would recommend just unlocking her and then going back and maximising him.
What I've also been doing is in the store, in the shipments, if I can click on it, you can buy gear. And I've just been buying gear as it appears.
The credit purchase gear.
What did I just do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the crystals.
No, I'm not using the crystals. I'm just literally just using the money system.
The credits.
The credits.
Yeah, you don't have to pay any real money for those.
No.
You need to make gear shipment requests, by the way.
I've been making gear requests and you've just been ignoring them.
How long do they last for?
Like 24 hours, something like that?
I have not seen one in the past 3 days.
Well, I have been making them, so...
Make one just now and then we can...
Okay, I will do it.
Because there has been a recent upgrade to the game where they added in a new form of energy, which is the mod energy. And this is specifically for use in mod battles where you get modifiers for your characters.
Right, I have made a request.
And it doesn't run out.
24 hours.
Yeah, so I'll answer that. So I just haven't seen them recently. But...
Even though I've told you. I've been messaging you saying I've been making the request.
Yeah, but you didn't make one the past couple of days.
I did.
Oh, she's angry now, ladies and gentlemen. If you hear a scream, that's me getting filleted. So what... They changed... The update they released changed the modifying battle system. You can do mod battles to unlock mods. And those unlock mods that you can buy in the mod shop, and they also unlock mod battles you can do for the challenges.
Yeah.
And they basically all just give you mods, but as well as experience and a couple of other smatterings of things. But what they used to do was that you would use the Cantina energy for that, but nobody was doing it because the Cantina energy is also used in Cantina battles where you can then get shards.
Yeah.
So what's the point? You wouldn't bother doing any of the mod fights until you...
No.
Because you probably get enough mods from other things.
No, because my mods unlocking at level 50.
Right, so that's why you haven't seen this yet. But the normal battle energy is yellow. Mm-hmm. The red stuff is Cantina. The blue is ship. And the green is the mod battle. And the mod battle energy was new. But you see, they actually introduced the mod battle energy before they introduced the fact that it's the mod battle energy you use. So I thought, oh, that'll be for mods. I went to check the mod battle, and while it tells you how much energy you've got, it hadn't flipped over to the new system yet.
Right.
Maybe I had to shut my game down or whatever, but it hadn't flipped over yet. So it was still saying red Cantina energy. So I was still sitting there. I was like, well, what is going on? Flicking through the whole game, trying to find out what this green energy is for, because nothing was using it. But it must have just been needing to shut down the version of the game, and that's what they've changed. So now I've been doing all the mod battles, and because I've got so far through the game. I know my voice disappeared again. Through the game with my team, it's it's very easy for me to just not sim it, but when you go into a battle, you can hit automatic, so it still plays through the fight, but it does it automatically. Right. Rather than just simming the result, it actually runs, and you can stop it halfway through and play, and then and that's what I've been doing, and I've just done all the battles up to the very last row. I need to improve my team a bit to do those, but the rest were easy. I got 3 stars on all of them first time while doing it automatically. And the same with the challenges. I've just been working my way through them, unlocking them so I can sim them later, because the mods one you can just sim whenever you want as long as you've got energy and tickets. So I've just been absolutely barreling through it with that energy. So
that's cool.
I'm not entirely sure whether or not it's going to be technically a waste, because once I've barreled through it all, I'm not sure if I'll go back and repeat it, so I don't know. Because mods, unless I can get some really, really amazing mods, I don't know if I would bother necessarily, so...
Well, every mistake you make is the one that I won't, so...
Yeah. So we'll see. Is there anything specifically you've enjoyed playing about it this last week, or...?
It's literally just the learning on the Galaxy Wars bit. Learning how to utilise my characters.
The reason you think that it'll get easier is because you'll get better and better, but what happens is the teams that you come across get harder and harder.
Right.
But you then get access as you play more and more to levelling up, to more equipment and more shards. You're able to bring more characters to bear and bring them, they're more powerful. So you're able to focus on taking, say, one key team member out of the opposing team.
Yeah.
And you can lose an entire an entire team taking out that one person, and it'll make the next fight easier, so the next team can take out someone, then you lose all of them, and the next team takes out 1 or 2 people, and then the next team finishes it off.
Yeah.
That's the advantage you have. That's why, you're up against all these teams, because you can essentially field all your people. I've done that. I've managed to win fights by taking out 1 or 2 key members of the opposition team and just bringing in as many subsequent teams as I could.
Yeah, because normally if I'm battling a team that has it's roughly about my level, so pretty much all of them have the same kind of characters I have. So my first protocol is always to take out Talia or the Jedi Consular.
The healers.
Try and get rid of them first.
Especially Talia, because she will, because the AI is not 100% brilliant, the AI will attempt to heal, but will just damage her.
Yeah.
And won't heal up anybody else, so that makes it even easier. It depends who I'm fighting. If it's an easy fight I want done quickly, I aim for the healers.
Also, something that I was doing before healing anybody up, I was sort of like waiting till the last moment to heal anybody up. And then it took me a little while to realise, no, that's stupid. I should be healing up as pretty much often as I can within reason.
Yeah. That's why Barriss Offie's quite good, because she heals up every start of every player's turn, or Luminara and Dooley, because she has a heal up that lasts a couple of turns.
Yeah.
But yeah, you seem to know what you're doing anyway.
I'm getting there. I'm starting to learn.
That's good.
So, Tommy, what have you been playing this week?
Right, this week so far, I'm just playing GTA 5 online with my brother.
Cool.
And the reason was his girlfriend was there, and we were just showing off. I wanted to show him this new car I'd bought, and she was there, so he decided to show her a couple of bits of the game. So we showed him the car that I showed him the car that I got, and then that immediately decided we went for a wee drive just to show off the car, some mechanics, and namely to lose the police that I'd racked up by opening fire on civilians while waiting for him to come out of his house.
Imagine talking about this like in a real life.
Yeah. And
somebody doesn't know you're talking about a game.
Yeah. And so we went for a drive across the country trying to lose the coppers, and when we did, we drove back to his house, then had a gunfight in which my car was utterly destroyed because there was no armour to it, so driving across all the countryside had posed a huge problem because I'd been bouncing around on the rocks and hills and basically
Yeah.
No armour means the car was falling apart. So we got out of my car, I had a look at it, and it was just like the front has fallen off of it. So I got bored and shot him in the head. So he spawned in, and just before inviting me into his house, he shot me in the head. But because he'd gone into the house, I couldn't shoot him back. So he'd left his car door open.
Yeah.
So I chucked a whole load of C4 in his car and blew it up. But then he wouldn't let me in his house because I'd blown his car up. So when all the fire engines turned up, followed by all the police, I was safe because I was standing in the mechanic where you're asking for entry to his house.
Yeah.
But that caused a bit of a bug to kick in. So when he said no to me, and I turned around to see all these guys, and I'm shooting at them all, and then I quickly run back and ask to get back into the house. Apparently when I was doing that, firefighters started to appear inside his garage. As in, they're not connected.
Yeah.
Right? The only connection, because he basically enters a different instance when he enters his house.
Yeah.
The only reason that they would be connected is because I was part of the party trying to join his house, try to go into his house, and he has to give me permission. And I blew up the car outside the sort of entrance to the garage.
Yeah. And
so somehow all these firefighters started to appear in his garage. Just like walking in the door to his garage or just appearing. I've not seen the footage yet, so I'm going to put that up for the people listening to this part. But they just started magically popping into his garage.
Yeah.
And then we started to mess around with what we could do inside his house because he's let me in by this point. And basically most of what we were doing was attempting to use his bed and his shower. So what we found out was that when one person goes into the bathroom or the toilet, you can't go in as well. It seals the door shut, no matter who it is. So if I went in, he couldn't get in, he went in, I couldn't get in. But what you can do is have two people in the bathroom if the door isn't shut.
Yeah.
So if you walk in and the door is still shutting, you can push it out of the way and move in.
Right.
So you basically let the other person in if you want. But obviously you can't use the toilet in the game.
No.
But what you can do is have a shower.
Yeah.
But so your character gets naked, you get in the shower, and if you're mic'd up, you can sing. But that doesn't work if you're in a party, and it gives you RP. Respect points, I think it is, or reputation. I think maybe reputation points.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work if the other person's in the bathroom. You have to be in the bathroom on your own. So we checked that out a few times and it didn't work. I'm really annoyed there's no climbing mechanic because there's a massive bathtub in his game. I'd like to just stand in his bathtub. I think it would be funny, but the game won't let me.
That'd be really creepy.
Yeah. So what we did instead was we got into his bed and we tried to see if we could lie on the bed together, which you can. And because what happened was he went in for a shower, so I had bored, nothing to do. So I lay down on his bed and he came out and I was on his bed and he started shouting, "Get off my bed, you!" So I got off it, he got on it, and then I tried to see if I could get on the other side. And we can, but we can't face each other.
Yeah.
So we can't like look at each other while we're lying on the bed because we'd be looking at each other with like really big scowls on our faces because that's where our characters look. But we can't do it, which is unfortunate. But he did go into the... his girlfriend noticed that his wardrobe had dresses in it. So she started to make fun of that. And it's not because he's bought dresses. The wardrobe that you see is different from... that you can just look at is different from the menu, which tells you what clothes you've got.
Yeah.
So I've got like a standard sort of background, as it were. And he went in to start changing his clothes and show her what he had, but I was still part of the party in the house. So while he's rifling through all of his clothes, I basically just walk up and slowly backward track till I'm in front of him, facing out.
Right.
And what happens is when he's in the menu changing it's third person in the menu looking at him standing in the walk-in cupboard, and you can change all the clothes that he's got. Mm-hmm. But from that angle, what you see is me standing in front of him. You can't
like
see.
A creeper.
Yeah, you can't. I'm just staring. I'm blocking him out completely, looking at the camera. So you just see me, and he's flicking through all the options, and my guy's just standing there staring out, still wearing the same clothes. So that was a lot of fun, and we were also playing some other aspects. We tried that heist mission that I spoke about with the person who was not being a good sniper during the sneak mission, kept setting off all the alarms.
Yes.
And we tried a couple of other things like that, a couple of other little missions that unlock as you go along.
Yeah.
We've done like 95% of the wee side missions. Not this. I don't know if you'd call them side missions or just sort of like job missions might be the way of putting it.
Right.
Because I think they're all called missions, but you've got heists. You've got other things. So the heists and other things like that are related to the buildings that you own.
Right.
You've also got the other missions that are there, like you start off the game doing missions for Lamar. But you also have missions where you're in that you can access through the jobs menu, which is just, so you're still working for these people, but it's things like steal this car, kill these people and steal the drugs,
Yeah.
protect this man as he drives through town. That's it. I think they start off with lots of missions from Madrazo where you kill people and steal pieces of evidence, and they're easy. Because there's not any police response and there's not any bodyguards for these people. You just drive up behind them, shoot them through the head, take a picture of their face and run away. That's it. But they get steadily far more complicated and you keep unlocking them as you go.
Yeah.
And you have to do previous missions to unlock the next one sometimes as well. So there's lots and lots to do in the game. As I've said before, the completionist mechanics don't work very well at all. They're bit part at best, but there's a lot to do and we've been doing things like that.
Well, it sounds like you've been having a blast.
Literally, if I was throwing C4 in his car. But it's fun.
Hence why I said that.
Oh, did you do that deliberately?
Yes,
well
I
done.
did.
Well done, I didn't see that.
Thank you.
Well done. You shall receive a pat on the head.
I feel so blessed.
And so you should.
I'll give you a pat on the shoulder.
Because that's what you can reach. That wasn't a pat, that was a thump. You assaulter. So that's what I've been doing with my time online. If I've not
your time online specifically.
Yeah, with Brian. I don't know if considering the amount of footage that I might get and the amount of time I've played with Brian and I will be playing with Brian over the next little while, I might just leave gaps in this and put some footage in.
Yeah.
If there's some good stuff, because you know how we've been limited in what we can record because of technological limitations?
Meaning we don't have a capture card.
I have actually found out there might be a way of hard connecting the Xbox to my laptop.
Ooh!
And I wouldn't be able to play through my TV, I have to play through the laptop screen, but I might be able to record without streaming it. So I might be able to capture some content that way.
I'm looking forward to this.
We might be able to do an entire mission, and hopefully it'll record team chat, so between the two of us we might be able to do a mission and just put the mission up.
Just remember, no swearing. Family friendly.
No, I would flag this
family friendly.
No, I would flag this as not family friendly, because you should be. If kids are watching dozens of people get shot, they can hear some swear words, so it's up to the parents. But this one, it may or may not be. If we're just faffing around in cars, no problem.
Yeah.
But if it's like a mission where we're killing hundreds of people, swearing's not going to be the biggest problem, is it?
No.
I'll just beep it out, so it's fine.
Okay.
But I might not. I might even cut this. Who knows? The power I wield is crazy.
Depending on who's editing this.
Me. I edit the video in, so I can still take it out.
I thought you meant audio.
Yeah, I can still take it out.
No, my plan is ruined.
Basically, nothing goes up unless it goes through me.
No.
So
I've never thought of that before.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing. You need to think these things through, right? Nothing that's gone up has gone up without my say so.
Drat.
So that's what I've been playing. And I've had a lot of fun.
And you're enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend this to other people?
Well, I speak about Halo 5 and GTA 5 online all the time, and it's because I'm always doing stuff. It's not. What have I been playing is not a section that we do about brand new games every week, although I try and include them when I can. It's about what I've actually been playing.
But would you recommend it to people?
Well, what I would say is the reason that I still play Halo 5 is I sometimes play some arena, which I still enjoy, which is like fights with other people online. I'll quite often play the firefights, the Warzones, Warzone firefight, especially on the weekend for the mythic ones, because you get a lot of rewards for doing that, and it's really challenging, and I find it fun because you basically go in thinking you're not going to succeed anyway, so you might as well just have fun. So there's less pressure, even though it's more difficult, and you really feel amazing when you actually complete a mythic Warzone firefight. And I also obviously love playing the custom games with my mates, and now I've got into making my own custom maps and game types. And so I would definitely recommend that, especially if you have people to play with. GTA 5 Online, on the other hand, I would only recommend that if you had people to play with.
Okay.
Because I would not do this stuff through by myself. No way. I wouldn't do the heist by myself. I'd only played through... I've only ever repeated missions or done some of the job missions with myself just to get more money to help make it easier what I'm doing with Brian. I would never play this game through on my own because the heist I only do with him and say,
laptop likes that.
One day you'll be able to join in, laptop. I only ever play them with Brian, and we, as I said before, I'd like an option to just play them with Brian when they want 3 or 4 people. That would be nice. But I just don't think I would have fun by myself, Have a group of people who play interchangeably, or one person you'll always play with.
Yeah.
Or 3, even better would be 3 people. I mean, playing just me and him means there's some things we can't do, but that's okay because we'll open up those matches to include other people. But I would have so little fun if I didn't regularly have somebody there every time. So that's the distinction. GTA 5, here's the different though, right? GTA 5 Online comes with GTA 5, and I would definitely recommend you play that as well.
Which I will do once I eventually have the...
So I would recommend Halo 5 and GTA 5, and because you'd be playing with me, I would recommend GTA 5 Online. But the only thing of what I've listed here that I wouldn't recommend you playing is 5 Online, unless you have someone to play with. But I'd still buy it because it comes with GTA 5, and GTA 5 single player is worth playing because the story is really good.
Okay.
And I like the heist mechanics even though they weren't enough.
Yeah.
So I would still recommend purchasing these, but GTA 5 Online, don't put your eggs in that basket because I don't know how well it'll work for you if you're playing by yourself. I know I wouldn't do it.
No.
So I just think the game mechanics are a bit simplistic, and they needed to, especially with the completionist stuff, there's so much things they could have made it better and they didn't. So, but yeah, I would recommend purchasing GTA 5 and Halo 5 and playing them.
Is there anything else you've been playing this week?
No, that's it.
So, after all that, shall we head on to the news for today?
Shall we do it in our hello accents, or shall we just...
Yes, we shall do it in our hello accents.
You're doing a German hello accent.
I've never seen a hello. I know what it is, but I've never seen it. I've seen clips of it. I think I've just given you an aneurysm or something like that.
You've never seen it. We'd go out as a family on Sunday, right, in the morning, go for a walk or something, come back, we'd have a lunch, cooked lunch, like a sort of like...
Chicken?
No, like a full breakfast, sausages, bacon...
So full English? Beans. Full Monty, as they say.
No, because we would have, we'd have like white pudding, fruit pudding, haggis, that sort of stuff, so it wasn't technically in English.
But similar thing. Just full Scottish.
Yeah, because it had Lauren sausage as well, so it was a full Scottish.
I remember the first time I tried a Lauren sausage. It was life-changing. I've
It
only ever had 3 in my entire life, but that's how many calories you can handle.
I'd have 3 in a meal. Anyway,
Hello.
And hello would be on in the background. This is what happened. This is the way of the world. I mean, it was still reruns, obviously, because it was made like the 70s, but it's incredible. Maybe the 80s.
I think it was the 70s. Now we have to find out when it was.
Yep. Hello. 1982 to 1992.
Really? It lasted till the 90s? I didn't know that.
That might be why it was still running, because this would have been the late 90s that I'm talking about.
Right.
So it would have been a rerun.
That's a recent rerun.
Yeah. Not like 20, 30 years down the line rerun that just happened to be
No, that's just that's the Friends territory. That's what's going to be happening in 30 years. We're still going to be watching Friends.
I remember we'd also be sitting there watching Lois and Clark.
My mum loved that show.
I mean, it didn't make a massive amount of sense, but they actually had a Superman that made sense.
I liked Smallville.
I think it was a wee bit too...
I don't care if it was too out there. I liked it.
No. I liked the way they explained all the bad guys were... The reason that all the superpowered bad guys appear near him is because he's the one causing them to appear.
Yeah.
I liked that sort of element to it. It's a bit more complicated than that, but I liked it. But what I didn't like was I thought there was a wee bit too much teen service to it, a wee bit maybe.
Yeah, there was.
Yes, though, in answer to your question, we will now proceed to the news. So do you have any news?
No, but do you?
Yes. So, news I have... Remember last week and previous weeks, last week specifically, we mentioned EA delaying Battlefield 5.
Yes, I do.
We mentioned EA's attachment. We discussed EA's attachment to destroying all single-player games, and Activision seemed to be joining in with them, the two most evil video game corporations you've ever seen.
Yes, I do. I remember it like it happened last week.
Yes. Well done, you. We mentioned their dedication to destroying all single-player games, and Activision seemed to be trying to help them because they got rid of the single-player in Black Ops 4. Well, there's been a piece of news come out about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the new Assassin's Creed game that's due out this year. The narrative director for Assassin's Creed Odyssey has stated that the main story of the game lasts for around 100 hours, and it is a single-player campaign game. It's been made as an RPG, some would say in the style of The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt. Most would say that's a good thing, I suppose.
Okay.
It's not 100% great because you don't want replications of games, you want new, but if you're going to start from that, that's probably a pretty good place to start.
Can I ask a quick question?
On you go.
100 hours, is that a reasonable amount for a single-player game, or are single-player games slightly less than that?
Significantly less than that,
right.
Usually. Something like Fallout, you might get a lot of time out of. Like KOTOR, Mass Effect, they're quite similar, and you got maybe 40-45 hours out of that.
Right.
But this isn't even side quests, this is 100 hours of main story.
Oh wow, just the main story?
Yeah, this isn't full content. Now, there's been some suggestion that there are level gates in the game, like you can only do certain missions when you're a certain level.
Okay.
It's because it's an RPG and you level from level 1 to 50, so maybe you can only do certain missions at a certain level, and that getting to that level takes a certain amount of time, so they've factored that in.
Right.
But even then, like I said, Mass Effect, KOTOR, 40 hours, so still 100, still a lot for that.
Yeah.
And one of the other factors that might be affecting the length of the game is the fact there's no Assassin's Creed coming out in 2019, so maybe they're doubling down on this one to see the fan response.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. It would make sense, yeah, because they made Origins last year, which was a different game. It was more RPG compared to the previous game, which was Syndicate, but there was no Assassin's Creed game before Origins. So I think it was 15 for Syndicate, 16 was a year off, 17 was Origins, 18's Odyssey, and 19 will be another year off.
Right.
They're not releasing them every single year like they were before.
So they're taking a little bit more time.
Hopefully they're learning to take a bit more time. And
it's more quality over quantity. Do you think they're learning that?
Quality over quantity.
And in terms of a style of quality over quantity, we need to take our time to produce a very good product. Not even if they try and get it out as fast as possible.
Well, my point would be quantity is because there's an awful lot of quantity if your game lasts at least 100 hours. But I would say quantity has been reduced in the scope of not releasing as many games.
Right.
There is some concern though, which for me is that if they do level gate it, there is always, and if it does have a long story, and always, there's obviously the thing that you could over level your character to the point where you're finding it really easy, right?
Right.
But games deal with that in certain ways, and apparently there's a level cap in this game at 50, so you don't level up past that, you don't get any more powerful, and that's the way they've dealt with that. But if your game lasts at least 100 hours and you're leveling at a considerable rate,
yeah,
then you could hit the maximum level before you're anywhere near finished the game, which may or may not service it very well. Because especially if it introduces different enemies as it goes, you might have leveled your character out and not picked certain moves that have now become really useful.
Yeah.
And you can't go and change that. I don't know exactly how the leveling system works, but there's multiple ways in which that could become, at the very least, a bit unfortunate that you're leveled up already, but could become a problem. So it's... Apparently the 100 hours mentioned doesn't necessarily include side missions and stuff like that and exploration.
Right.
It might be that it does, that there's a level cap, so you have to do side quests, or you have to go and find certain places, so you don't necessarily... It might not be 100 hours just running through it, but it might be 100 hours just running through it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know yet. In the very least, I'd say if it lasts 100 hours, that main story will last like 30 or 40, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good chance that it will last a very long time, and so that they've got to get the balance right between how much time you'll spend outside the main story, how much time you'll spend in it, and the limitations of level caps and stuff like that.
Right.
It's not an RPG really if you don't have leveling, but a previous style Assassin's Creed game of 100 hours length might have worked a bit more safely from the point of view of leveling, because you didn't.
Yeah.
You got given abilities a bit more in a sort of Zelda-esque fashion, where you unlocked them by getting to certain story points. Not Zelda Breath of the Wild, but previous Zelda games where you did it like dungeons and you got stuff as part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be that would have maybe been a safer way of doing it, but it looks like they've gone all out on this, and then they're going to wait and see what people think. So maybe they have sorted those things out. Origins was I think from what I heard, it was a little bit... It lacked a certain something that I think Odyssey has got, and it also has the fact you can pick a female or a male character at the start, and the game is slightly different for which one you pick.
Alright, okay. So so the game alters depending on your gender.
You pick between two characters. You pick a male called Kyrios and a female called Alexandria or something like that.
And the game will alter depending on the character, because each character will have a different story.
Yeah, but the story will be similar, but
it's minor
some of the interactions will be different.
All right, okay.
I think, yeah, so it's... and you can design the look of your character. And I think that's the sort of... we mentioned it with the Battlefield 5, that's the sort of thing where you can put a woman into maybe a historically slightly inaccurate situation, but because it is accurate enough and done in the right way...
Yeah.
It's fine. They're supposed to be Spartans, and the Spartan females were still given training. They weren't sent out into the field, but they were expected to fight if Sparta was ever attacked. So there's some connection there that you could go with.
Yes.
Also, you're apparently supposed to be related to King Leonidas.
Yeah.
From 300, so that element would make you possibly royal family, which would possibly make more sense to you being able to fight and defend yourself. It works better putting a woman in that scenario than just hammering them into thousands of them.
You're gonna be in this bit. You're gonna be in that bit. That's how it's gonna work.
Entire female regiments just hammered into Battlefield 5, and when you point out that makes no sense, you're apparently a sexist. So it's nonsense. But yeah, it's this makes more sense.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to this one. I was almost not interested, and then this came out. It could be 100 hours long, and then finally, a single player game that's actually taking it seriously and doing it properly.
Yeah.
So that was sort of in combat with the EA stories, and Ubisoft, who make Assassin's Creed, they also make Rainbow Six Siege, a game we've spoken about before, which, because of its esport credentials, is doing very, very well for Ubisoft. And they also have the Division 2 coming out next year. They don't really need to release another game next year, and they might even get in their own way.
Yeah.
If somebody had to pick between Assassin's Creed, whatever would be coming out next year, and Division 2, or a patch for Rainbow Six Siege, all they're doing is putting hundreds of millions into developing a game, and then that person is picking between two of their games, instead of it coming out the following year and the person buys both.
Yeah.
So it's part of the diminishing returns of releasing a game every year, is that some people have to save up to buy a game like that. They can only buy one Assassin's Creed game every couple of years, so if they make one a year, half sales.
Yeah.
Also the fact they're not as good, so or people get bored of it, so less sales again. So there's reduced diminishing returns from giving it an extra year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good thing that they've given it an extra year, and hopefully this will do well. People will rate it very highly, enjoy it, and they'll be able to see that giving it extra time, doing it properly, focusing on a single player story that people care about, and giving it time will work. Even if the game doesn't sell well at the beginning, it will sell well the following year if it gets rated well.
Yeah.
So it's the right thing to do. I always leave a little bit of a space at the end of these stories for you to give any thoughts.
I think it's cool that there's going to be 100 hours. I think that you're going to, depending on how much it is, you're probably going to be getting quite a lot for your money.
As long as it's good quality, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be interesting. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I saw one thing online where a woman who was playing did a Spartan kick, which is one of the abilities, from 300.
Yeah.
And she did it to a bear, which went flying off a mountain.
Yeah. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. With Origins and Odyssey, I don't know how they're doing the modern day stuff or the slightly futuristic stuff, but they've gone down the route of it's okay to have some sort of magic in it now.
Magic!
Yeah. I think the idea being that future technology would look like magic to people from the past.
It would.
So if you had ancient technology, you'll learn this when you play them through, from the previous precursor race, it would look like magic.
Yeah.
You would understand it. Like a beam that turns everyone to stone, you create Medusa, that sort of thing. So, you sail out into the middle of the sea and you get sunk by a massive big squiddy android thing, and everybody thinks it's a kraken, whatever. It could be just normal technologies that appear magical. So
it's a bit like if you were to say take someone from the Middle Ages and show them an iPhone or a smartphone of some description, what would they think of it? They probably think that was magic.
I think it would actually, if you took them from the Middle Ages and showed them a TV or an automatic door, I think an automatic door would just cause them to panic.
Oh yeah, or a light switch.
Aye.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that. Is that what you mean by they think it's magic?
Yeah. Well, if you took a human from before fire and dropped them in the Middle Ages, they'd be...
To be perfectly honest, I think if you probably took somebody from say, the 80s and showed them what we have developed...
I wouldn't say the 80s, I'd say the 70s, because laptops, smartphones...
were being developed in the 80s, yeah.
They're not necessarily developed, but if you've ever seen Star Trek The Next Generation, which was late 80s...
I haven't.
They basically... Picard has a laptop on his desk in his ready room. They talk to each other by hitting a comm badge.
Yeah.
It's communication that's mobile and small and all that sort of jazz. They've got touch screens, as it were, of an idea when it comes to the tricorders.
Yeah.
So it's... Yeah. But I like the sound of what... I haven't played one since Unity. And it's not because I don't want to, it's just that I want to record some of it.
Right.
Syndicate I'm not too bothered about. I might just play through that, but Origins, it looks like it's a bit more free roam. I might want to record some, so I wanted to be able to record. But Odyssey has, ancient Greece. It's actually re-sparked my interest. I'm not that bothered about playing in London. I know I'm from Britain, but I don't really care. It doesn't interest me at all. And playing in ancient Egypt, interesting, but that's going to be a lot of sand. But this looks a bit more interesting,
When you say sand, I'm just reminded of that line from Star Wars. When Anakin talks about sand.
It gets everywhere. I remember saw one video of Origins where I think that they were trying to rescue a drunk guy from an island that was surrounded by crocodiles, and they got him. But they got him on the boat, and when they were turning the boat, they put the tillers through him and punched him into the water. But it turns out the crocodiles don't actually attack him, so he just swam back out and got on the boat. But they jumped in to save him, which was a bit stupid. It was just an innate reaction, and got eaten. But I think Ubisoft, did they not also make Far Cry?
I
Far
don't know.
Cry seems to have dried up and died after 5. It was just so bad. So they need to take their time and do things properly. Assassin's Creed is a salvageable series at this juncture. I'm not happy with what they... See, this is also part of the thing, was I didn't like Unity. They changed it. People were saying the fighting was too easy, right?
Yeah.
So they changed it for Unity, and I hated Unity. I've spoken about this before. I hated its combat system. It was the weakest part. You're supposed to feel powerful. If you come up against 4 guys, one of them steps out of the fight, shoots you in the face, and it's game over. Rubbish. It's the same thing for Syndicate. And I just want to see what they did with Origins, because I want to feel powerful again, right? If I'm fighting 400 guys, I should be able to kill them all. That's the whole point, is that you're ridiculously superpowered.
Yeah.
That's the point. You're not just a regular guy. Regular guys don't scale buildings that are 500 foot tall, stab someone and disappear without anybody knowing they were there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just annoying when they try and make it seem realistic, when the whole point is these people... The whole point of this is both sides of this war, Templar and Assassin, are so powerful you could conceivably not know they were actually there.
Right.
They could have an actual war and you wouldn't notice because they're that powerful and they're that good at what they do. And the idea of reducing that for Unity and Syndicate just made me angry. But everybody was like, oh, the combat system's way better because it was too easy. Well, now it's not too... Now it's not less easy, it's just less fun. It's pointless. But this has really revamped my interest, if I'm being honest. This particular news story has made me sit up and think maybe Ubisoft. Because they tried to make single player games with Watch Dogs. I was really interested for Watch Dog 1. It came out, waited a couple of months, and the reviews were just like... After that, I thought, right, what am I going to do? Maybe see how Watch Dog 2 is. And they seem to have just tried to make it more interesting by making all of the characters caricatures. I think you're a black guy in this who's a teenager. So instead of going this moody guy who might be ex-military or ex-secret service or ex-tech wizard, right? You're just some teenager who's a punk. Who's just like, I've been able to hack since I was 4. Oh, brilliant. I've been able to go to the toilet since I was 4. I'm not doing it professionally. So I don't care about those sorts of characters. I care about people with a reason, not just a fun for it. And they seem to have just tried to sort of like teen hype it. And I'm not interested at all. You know, it's going to be like, oh, I hacked this guy because he's really bad. Why? Because he's sort of a bit, you know, it's like, he called this person who was a he but is now a she, he called them he. Oh. Like, does the guy know this person's gone through a sex change? No. But he should know. How? Because he just should. That's the sort of thing I expect to come from the quality of interaction with these characters.
Right.
Just such absolute new age nonsense. Just to try and make it seem hip and cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not old, but I cannot stand that. Give your characters some depth. Don't just play into what you think people want to hear. And I just really get the feeling from these characters in Watch Dogs 2 that it's just utter nonsense. Because they seem to try with a real character for 1, but they made him too boring. Which means I think they made him dark and people didn't like it. In the second one, they seem to have tried to play into what they think people want and therefore made them actually empty, but just colourful empty, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the sort of people who have no real opinion on anything, but will go to a concert and dance around the place and you think, oh God, they're so cool and free. It's like, yeah, but what do you think about Libya? Whatever, man, yeah. Like, oh God. You know, I can't stand that sort of character. So I'm hoping that Ubisoft have realised that they have to take real care with their characters and their licenses and franchises and really make games that people are interested in with characters. I mean, Ubisoft have made one of the greatest characters ever with Ezio. Auditore Differenze. They can do this. I don't know why they've chosen not to. I think Ezio was a ladies' man, so that's not what you want in a game where ladies are going to be able to play the main character. What's the problem? They can go a woman now. Just make the woman a man's woman, or whatever the other one is.
What?
Like the man who's a ladies' man, this would be a woman who's a man's woman. You know?
Yeah. I've never thought of that before, that there's there's a ladies' man, but there's not.
Yeah, but just do that. I mean...
Yeah.
I don't understand why they won't make an Ezio, because Ezio Auditore, one of the greatest characters ever created, would be seen as being too misogynistic. And yet if you actually play the game through, the ladies' man element of it is almost non-existent. He basically drops it when he's 15. But it would still ban the character from being made nowadays because people are so vocal about, oh my god, I got so offended by this one tiny little thing. I don't care. Go away.
Okay, calm down.
But why is it people think that when they've been offended, they have a right to rewrite everything? You offended me. Oh my god, this is almost as bad as that time somebody removed my leg.
When did someone remove your leg?
No, I'm trying. The point is that...
I know.
The idea is that people think offence is actually something... You offended me, and that's wrong. You shouldn't have done that. Naughty. No, it isn't. You cannot be offended if you do not choose to be offended, essentially. Because you have that choice when you're offended between saying, come on, it's probably fine, and, no, I'm going to get offended. So you should pick those battles far more carefully. Whenever anybody says anything that somebody gets insulted to, there's sometimes a valid reason for that insult, for the offence that you've felt, for you to do something about it.
Yeah.
But it's not the fact you've been offended that gives you the right to do something about it, really, or at least the purpose to do something about it. It's what was actually insinuated, the actual feeling, belief, conviction, meaning behind what the person said or did. It's not the fact you got offended.
Yeah.
In my mind, the fact that you've been offended by what someone has said is a possible indication, or said or done, that something has gone wrong, but it is not proof that something has, because offence is subjective.
Yes, it is.
So you have to then put it through an objective analysis to discover whether or not you're just upset or something has actually gone wrong.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where I would... Because there's lots of contradictions inherent with a lot of what people say when they get offended. Like,
are we still on the first news story? Have I lost track? Have we moved on to the next topic?
I was talking about why I think I will hate the Watch Dogs 2 characters.
Right.
And I think it's because these are the sort of people who... That's what I see when I see them. I just see new age propaganda nonsense, you know? But you're right, we will move on to the next piece of storage now, because we were originally talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey and then proceeded to move through Ubisoft's entire collection. Oh, but what might be fun is the Ubisoft Ubiplay or Uplay or Ubisoft Play or whatever it is they have now, which you'll see when we start playing Assassin's Creed. That should be fun. I don't know what it looks like now, but that was interesting. Something to look out for. So the rest of the news that we have for today, because you don't have any, it's just me.
No, I do not.
The only one doing my job properly around here, is Fallout 76 / Bethesda news. So we'll go with the Fallout 76 piece. Most of the Fallout 76, Cyberpunk and Red Dead stuff will probably go in its own videos.
Okay.
But small pieces will come in here, or anything that we really urgently need to talk about, and this is the first time we record.
Yeah.
So a small piece for Fallout 76. We discussed the lack of NPCs in the game previously.
Yes.
And there has been a revelation in regards to this. Now, if you remember, we spoke about the fact that with no NPCs, there'll be no NPC traders in the game.
Yeah.
And there'll be no NPC human bad guys.
Yeah.
Now, that's not the case. There will be NPC traders in the game.
All right.
And I think that's because they must have realised, this is according to Pete Hines, who's heavily involved in the development, that they didn't want to push... In the single player games, you had to basically interact with traders to buy and sell things, right? Which means you're forcing the player to make certain choices. But if you take all the traders out, you force people to then make things instead, or trade other humans.
Yeah.
You're still forcing the player to make a choice. Because if you don't have enough players who are willing to be traders, you don't have traders. So they're going to have both, from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So nobody's forced to do anything. And I think they won't be human. There'll be some sort of robot, possibly ghoul, something like that, but they won't be human. That's why there's no NPC humans in the game.
Yeah.
There might be a sort of like trading robot or something like that. That's my interpretation of that. They also gave some information regarding microtransactions for Fallout 76.
Is it happening?
I think so, because they've stated that there will be DLC for Fallout 76, but it will always be free. So I think it's highly likely that there'll be microtransactions for Fallout 76.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But it will not be DLC like they've said. It will be like in Elder Scrolls Online, you can choose to subscribe or not, and if you choose to subscribe, you get like a certain amount of crowns which you can use to buy things in a specific market. You get access to all the DLC, all that sort of stuff. In this case it would be different because the DLC is all accessible anyway.
Yeah.
But you also get access to, you can buy like sort of outfits. So you have in Elder Scrolls Online, you've got armor you wear that gives you all your, that actually has an effect, but you can wear an outfit on top of it so that you can look like Boba Fett or whatever. I don't think there is a Boba Fett one, but you can. I think I've seen people running around looking like skeletons and looking like lava men.
Nobody running around in morph suits though.
The wee guy, the plasticine guy. No,
Did this phase not hit you when you were in secondary school? You know, at our secondary school, once a year, the 6th year would dress up and go around collecting money for, I can't remember what it was, Children in Need or Comic Relief or something like that.
Yeah, I dressed up like King Leonidas, so I was walking around in a red cape and a pair of leather pants.
I'm trying to think if I ever remember that. I can't remember.
Would it haunt your dreams, or would it haunt your nightmares, or what would it haunt?
Nightmares.
Seeing me wandering around in leather. I mean, I
can't remember it, so.
I had a wooden spear and a wooden shield and a wooden sword.
I think I probably remember that.
You don't remember it?
No, I don't think I do. But no, the year I was in 6th year, there was a group of boys that all just wore morph suits, which was basically just like a full body suit, and they had like a thing that went over their heads. Think Spider-Man, right? Uh-huh. But just one color.
Yeah,
and that's a morph suit.
The little plasticine guy from the art show.
I don't know if that's where it comes from, but it's called a morph suit.
Yeah, it's. I can show you because I have access to an internetable device here.
That's Morphe. That's the makeup palettes.
Yeah. Morph.
I know who Morph is.
Yes, and he comes from. It's initially seen interacting with Tony Hart, and he was an artist.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a morph suit. Type in morph suit.
Okay.
Those things.
Ah, right. So basically a sort of CGI suit. You'd wear
kind of, yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
But they can come in multiple different colours.
Right, it's basically like spandex, right, okay.
Yeah, and that was the creepiest thing in the world.
You've not seen me in my leather underpants.
Thank you for putting that image in my head.
I put that image in everybody's head. And I have pictures, so I can
I'm so sorry, I can't control what he says. I have little to no control over this person.
If you're offended by the mention of my leather underpants, I don't care.
Blame him, not me.
I don't care. Next. Where were we? When did my leather underpants come up?
Talk about morph suits.
Oh yes, the outfits for ESO.
Yes.
I think a lot of the transactions will be things like that sort of aesthetic.
Right.
It won't, or you could maybe buy a couple of whatevers, but it won't be a big deal.
Yeah.
And that, everybody's saying, oh, I've really enjoyed this game. I've paid 60 quid for it. Here's an extra $5 for a wee suit I want to wear, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that'll if it has 100 million players or 10 million players and half of them decide to buy a wee suit, that's a lot of money for them to put into the next.
It is, yeah.
So they'll do okay with that. Just having a wee drink of water there so that I can speak and not get nodules. Again, thoughts?
It sounds like there will be microtransactions when they go out their way to say something's free. Means that something's not going to be free.
Well, it's not free. You still have to buy the game. What they're saying is the DLC will be free.
That's what I mean. When they talk about anything that's going to be free, I think.
No. I see. The problem is they've had games that have tried what you're suggesting before, and because they suggested it, they actually did it. They got sued.
Right.
Like Resident Evil 5, I think. They put some of the game's story behind DLC. And when they tried that, they got sued by the players. So there's ways you can do it, but there's ways you're not. And I don't think they could do that. I don't think they could say the DLC will always be free and then find a way to pay for the DLC. But putting in microtransactions that you don't have to pay for means it's still technically free.
Okay.
So there's lots of other ways of done it. Like ESO have locked some DLC behind membership. You in Star Wars: The Old Republic, you can't level up as fast past certain levels if you're not a member. You know, that sort of thing. You're not allowed to have a certain amount of money past a certain amount. That sort of thing. They lock everything off. So it still functions as a game. It's just not quite as fluid. So I don't see them having to go to the extremes of actually tricking people into buying the DLC. So I think the DLC will be free.
Okay.
I don't know how looking forward I am to 76. It might be fun for us to play together.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I'm not looking forward to it as a game because it's not a proper single player game. As I said before, this is great. I'll give it a go. Definitely more likely to if they're making an actual Fallout 5. Mm-hmm. It's a proper single player game. But if they're not, then I'm just going to be annoyed. The last story that we've got for today is it's a Bethesda specific story, which is Bethesda own a number of small game developer studios that they've bought, and they've recently appears that they've ramped up the activity of those smaller game developer studios, and to me that would indicate that they've recently made Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield announcements alongside Fallout 76. Mm-hmm. And I think that what they might be doing is ramping up these smaller game studios to bring them in to making those games so that they can be available much quicker than we expect. I still don't expect either of them to be Xbox One or PlayStation 4 games. They'll be the next generation. Mm-hmm. But I think that they're trying to... I mean, people have been saying Elder Scrolls will take like 10 years, Starfield will take 5. If they use these other game developer studios and give them certain tasks...
Yeah.
Because that's still technically in-house to a degree, they might be able to bring it together and have those games ready much earlier. Mm-hmm. Or those game developer studios may be working on other smaller titles.
Right.
But it looks like they're ramping them up.
Okay.
So it looks like they're doing something with them. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that's a bit more of a nuanced piece of story. I don't know if you'll have anything.
I don't have anything to say on that, I'm afraid.
Obviously those smaller game developer studios are doing something.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing that the smaller developers are getting bought up by?
It depends at the rate at which it happens. I mean, if they buy them up and still use them properly, they're just owned by a bigger company, that's fine. That can work fine.
Yeah.
If it's more like what's happening with EA, where they bought up all the other studios and then killed them, EA are called the studio killer, because they destroyed the games by trying to maximise profit from them rather than just keep making a good game. It's bad. It's the actual practicable result that's important, not the actual. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it looks they're either making smaller games or other games, or preparing the games that come out after 6 and Starfield, or they're going to be used as part of the production for Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, well.
Anywho,
I have no news.
Yeah.
Is that all that you have?
Yes, that's all the news for today. So, again, thank you all for listening.
Yes, thank you.
If you enjoyed this ShadowCast, please like and subscribe below. You can follow us on Facebook at OverShadow.ShadowCast, or you can contact us through email at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com.
You could also leave a little comment for us.
Either
below.
on Facebook or below in the comments under the video. Any comment or question is appreciated. We'll try and get round to it if anybody ever leaves one. And all that's left for me to say is thank you to Abigail.
And all that's left for me to do is say thank you to Tommy and to all of you guys for listening to us.
Yes, thank you very much.
We appreciate your continued support.
And we hope to see you again next week.
Well, at least you hear us again anyway next week.
I'm just using the... Okay then, we hope to invade your privacy next week or whenever we release another video. So thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Bye bye.